Hi, my name is Christina Block, and I will be discussing poverty in America, its causes, its effects on children and families, as well as highlight the strengths of impoverished families. My thesis statement is equity for children and families living in poverty does not come with easy solutions. It comes from listening, developing trust, and meeting people where they're at. As members of a community, there's a responsibility to create spaces that are safe, respectful, and honor each culture, struggle, and strength, helping to bridge the gap between surviving and thriving. Living in poverty affects every part of a person's life. It's not just about money. It's about the lack of resources, opportunities, and sometimes even hope. Many Americans who live in poverty work hard every single day, but they still struggle to pay the rent, put food on the table, or afford health care. It's heartbreaking to know that in a country where there is so much wealth, so many families are still struggling to survive. In order to explain the importance of poverty in America, I will share research on how poverty creates stress, affects decision making, and limits the opportunities for education and growth, and highlight the strengths of the impoverished families. To start our journey, I would like to discuss that we all have a role in supporting families that are facing poverty. We can promote resources and support systems that help meet their needs, as well as treat every child and every family with dignity and compassion. With understanding, kindness, and community effort, we can make a change in the lives of impoverished Americans. Poverty doesn't happen overnight, and it's not always the result of poor choices. Some of the biggest reasons families struggle are things often that are out of their control, such as losing a job, medical bills are piling up, lack of affordable housing, or even living in a community where there is no good paying jobs. According to Jenkins and Mayer, poverty is a complex problem with many contributing factors, including education barriers and systematic inequalities that can help make it hard for families to break free from poverty, even when they're working hard. Families facing poverty often face tough choices every single day, whether it's they're going to pay the bills or if they're going to put food on their table. Understanding these causes and effects on children and families, now we can discuss how poverty creates stress and affects the decision making and limits the opportunities for education and growth. Poverty does not just affect a child's home, it also affects how they think, how they feel, and how their families make decisions. When every single day is a struggle to pay the rent, keep the lights on, or put food on the table, the constant stress takes a toll on the families and on their children. According to an article, Lipina and Losincia, stress from poverty can create an effect in a child's brain that affects their ability to focus and to learn in school. Poverty changes the way people make decisions. Families living in poverty often must think in the short term because the immediate needs are so urgent. Now that we've touched base on how poverty creates stress as well as affects decision making, we will show how families show resilience and their strengths by living in poverty. Families living in poverty are some of the most resilient people. They lean on their neighbors, they lean on their extended family, churches, community, organizations for help, and they even give right back to those people when they can. Poverty is not just about what people lack, it's about the creative ways they survive, support one another, and build community. They do not take things for granted because they understand what it's like to go without things. The resilience and determination to keep moving forward despite all odds is something that should be honored. Poverty creates challenges, but it also reveals the incredible strength of people. I would like to reiterate that poverty is not just about money, but it's also the daily struggle to meet the basic needs. Poverty affects how families make decisions, children learn, and their opportunities to grow and survive. I've discussed how poverty creates chronic stress for children and parents, and how it changes how decisions are made in a household. It can also limit access to education and growth. I've also shared how, despite these hardships, impoverished Americans and families often show great courage, creativity, and love. They find ways to support, build community, and keep moving forward even when the road is difficult. Thank you.